Welcome to Bent TV. I'm Greer McGearey. I'm president of the Seahorse Club of Victoria, and with me tonight is Brenda Appleton, a long-term member, and one of the pleasures that I've had in celebrating the 40th anniversary of Seahorse this year is catching up with a lot of people over the last 12 months and in other activities that I've had with Brenda. And my memories of her is when I first came to Seahorse that very first night, she was the treasurer and collecting money at the door. And so welcome, Brenda.
Thank you, Greer.
Really pleased that you're able to join us tonight. What I'd like to ask about in this celebratory year for Seahorse is the importance it had in your life, and then maybe tell us a bit about your story and how you came upon Seahorse.
Righto. Seahorse played a very important part of my life. I had known from a young age that I wasn't comfortable in a male body, and being born when I was, 1950, I wasn't able to, there wasn't any media, there wasn't any talk, any profile for trans, so I didn't realise at that stage what the issue was. And I just thought I was a bit weird, and probably the only one like me in the world, which is a lonely place to be. My father had been a boxer, footballer, ex-army, so a very macho sort of environment. And therefore I put those feelings behind me and was able to suppress them for a certain period of time. But I guess through my 30s and into my 40s it became much more difficult. And I realised I needed to do something about it. And so Seahorse was the first group that I joined where I was able to meet with others with gender identity issues. And whilst by then I'd read a bit about it on the internet and I'd read a number of books and so on, meeting people face to face was just such an important part of my journey. I joined Seahorse probably 17, 18 years ago, and it was an important part of my life for many years.
As I just sort of recounted a moment ago about my first experience of walking in and meeting yourself, what was your first experience of walking in the door at the venue?
It was a scary time. It was scary getting ready, driving there and then walking in. And I met friendly faces, I met people who were welcoming, and I guess I felt I'd found my tribe. And I was talking to my wife Janice before coming today, and she said that I used to come home with a glow and an energy and a happiness that she hadn't seen before. So yeah, it was just vital from my own survival point of view.
Yes, my very first experience on that particular night was I was working in country Victoria at the time, and I had a 4.5 hour drive to Melbourne. But I was extremely nervous, but as I walked around, and the particular venue had a glass panel door, and I remember looking through that and thinking, there's people in there as badly dressed as I am. And I found that very comforting, because suddenly I had a reality to my feelings. I could see that there were people that had similar physical shape and sizing and clearly had similar issues that I was dealing with in both a day-to-day and also long-term, just in that one visual observation. And but what do you find were the key elements of Seahorse that really helped you?
I guess meeting people who were at a similar stage in life and trying to understand how they might express their gender. I think I enjoyed meeting some of the people who were more progressed on their journey and could learn from them. I used to find the speakers were often very helpful, and I particularly enjoyed the library at that stage because I was wanting to read more and understand more. And the library, there was a good selection of books in the library, and therefore that was a useful part of my finding out more as well.
when you say the useful aspects of Seahorse, such as the library, of course we've in the last 12 months donated that to the State Library of Victoria because it's becoming a bit impossible for an individual in this day and age to be able to store and maintain it. And so we'll always be acknowledged. But the late Louise Horden was responsible for that. So characters such as Louise, who is very open about herself, how did that inspire you?
Louise was a great person. I really enjoyed meeting Louise, talking with her. There were many others though as well, so it wasn't just Louise at Seahorse at that stage. There were a lot of different people that I interacted with. And I guess what Seahorse ultimately did, through Seahorse and going out with others, I went to my first restaurant and I broke a lot of new territory. And I think it was those experiences that helped. It gave me the courage and the confidence to be able to do more and more by myself. But to do it in a group to start with was very helpful.
Have you found that Seahorse has provided that opportunity to become more involved in the since you've transitioned?
Certainly I enjoyed being involved with Seahorse at the time. I was on the committee for many years and as you've said, I was treasurer for some time. Unfortunately, I've been fairly busy since I transitioned. So I think I've only been back to Seahorse Victoria once or twice since then. But now I'm very heavily involved with Transgender Victoria. I was on the last LGBTI Ministerial Advisory Committee, and I spend a lot of time, I guess, working with and for the community.
Well, thank you, Brenda, for sharing your story and the impact that Seahorse has had upon your life and the activities you're participating in that. And of course, in this 40th anniversary year of Seahorse, it's been my pleasure to be president and to have enjoyed seeing people from the past and hopefully people from the future. The 40 years is just gone in a flash from what I gather. So more can be found out about Seahorse on seahorsevic.com.au, and please help us celebrate 40 years of Seahorse.
Thanks, Greer. I've really enjoyed it, and let's hope there's another 40 years to come.